Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. I am Caitlin and this is where I teach you everything I know about sewing and we learn more together along the way. Today I am sharing my makes from March. It's always fun to go back and see what I actually accomplished in the last 31 days and kind of just share them with you. I really do like watching other people's videos on this stuff. I don't know, it's just kind of some of my favorite videos to make and watch. And if you're new around here, you might not know that I am trying to sew through my stash before purchasing any more fabrics. So far, this has been going well for this year, 2022. You know, this is kind of like a common thing, right? People try to do this. Doesn't always work. Sometimes goes better than others. But another thing I'm trying to do is to only sew patterns that I already own or that are free. I don't want to spend money on more patterns even though I have a wish list like a mile long. So I stick with my Seamwork membership and patterns that I already have, as well as free patterns. So I'm happy to report that the first 3 months of 2022, I have stuck to not purchasing fabric other than with a gift card that I had. Caveats for everything, right? And also I have not purchased any patterns. I've actually not purchased anything sewing related in this year at all. That being said, let's see what I made this month. The first thing I made was my beautiful Bud shacket here. Now, Bud is a Seamwork pattern. This is kind of, yeah, it is more of a shacket pattern. I love shackets. I love the way they look on other people, other body types, when they wear them like over leggings or over skinny jeans and they're long and they cover their bum and they look so cute. But for me, it just, I don't know, I just always feel like frumpy and short because I have such short legs. So I wanted to still create that shacket look, but make it work for my body type, which beauty of sewing, am I right? So I made the size 8 and I shortened the bodice by 1 inch. I did do a muslin on this because, I don't know, that's just kind of my preference. I've gotten in the habit of just making a practice one just to make sure things are gonna be good for when I cut into my pretty fabric. So shorten the bodice by 1 inch. I left the sleeves the proper length, that was fine. Yeah, and actually like they're not too long for anything, you know, they're great. I'm glad that I didn't shorten them. The other adjustment that I made was actually a bicep adjustment. So this was the first time I've done this and I did it on the Inkscape as well. I filmed it so that I can share with you. So an upcoming video I am going to be showing how to do a full bicep adjustment. So I added 1 inch to the girth of each bicep, each sleeve on the bicep. And that was the only adjustments I made. I did not do the breast pockets. I did do the lower pockets, which I love. I was considering not doing them, but then I did and I love them. Did them on the bias. The other thing I did on the bias was the back yoke, which I think is a fun little detail that, you know, nobody notices unless you sew or, you know, study stuff like that. I had some pretty navy blue buttons in my stash. This fabric is from, picked it up at Value Village actually, and so yeah, it was thrifted fabric, which I love. The only thing that I really like kind of messed up on was I put the locker loop in the inside, which was very confusing when I was reading through the instructions because it was talking about it being on the outside, so the right side, wrong side, inside, outside was really screwing me up. But I actually don't mind it on the inside because now I can hang it that way. I obviously could from the back side too, but it's kind of nice to just have that clean back. And then I just put in a recycle tag because this is recycled fabric from the thrift store. The hem is just a tiny little hem. I think next time I make this, I will probably do a deeper hem. I'm just partial to deeper hems. I've been wearing this lots as a shacket, but it actually, when I was making it or figuring out which size to make, I was not concerned with it buttoning up because I planned to never button it up, but it actually would. I haven't actually done it, but it would button up and it would, I could wear it as a shirt as well. The only issue with that is that it is kind of itchy. I thought this was like a brushed cotton and it very well could be, but I think there is wool in it as well, or even maybe just wool, because it is kind of itchy, not to the point where I can't wear it, but it is noticeable like on my neck and things like that. So I have been wearing it as much as I can without people realizing that I wear it, you know, every day, all day. So that was my first make. I think that's all I have to say about him. I think that's all I have to say about that one. Then I wanted to focus on the March challenge, So Frugal 2022. So we're using fabric from my stash and a free pattern to enter the challenge. That is open till like today. We share everything over on Instagram, so you still might have time today to get that in if you haven't already. Just quickly whip something up. I have a full video on a bunch of different patterns that you could choose, so I will make sure I link that in the description box if you haven't seen that one already. So what I chose to make was the Lago tank from Itch to Stitch. This was a new pattern to me. I haven't made it before, and I am quite happy with it. It turned out great. I love the fit of it for the most part. So I did shorten it 2 inches to kind of be more at my high hip. If it ended up cropped, I was fine with that as well. I didn't do a muslin on this one because I wasn't too concerned about it, because I made this to be pajamas. So this vertical stripe fabric, I've mentioned it a few times. I made a dress out of this, not knowing it was vertical stripe, making it horizontally. Love that thing. Wear it constantly wore it constantly in the later summer and fall when I made it. I even have worn it a few times this winter, but I had quite a bit of excess fabric left over, so I decided, somebody suggested pajamas, and yeah, like, so happy I did this. So the top is very unremarkable. I did the binding, the neckline and the bands, I guess they're called, arm bands on the cross grain, and I like the way that finishes because it kind of just blends in, whereas if I would have done it on the grain, straight grain, there would have been the stripes going across, and then they wouldn't have matched up with the bodice, so it would have been I like this better. It just seems a little bit more streamlined. So yeah, this is like a nice kind of looser fitting tank. I made the size 12 in this one, and again I shortened it by 2 inches. I think I could probably size down at least once, maybe twice, if I wanted a closer fitting tank. Next time I think I will try the size 10 and see how that goes. But I was really happy to try this because I do kind of need a better tank pattern in my life. So the front has this nice scoop neck, and then the back is also a scoop neck, and it has a very slight eraser back. Wasn't worried about wearing a bra because, like I said, I made this for pajamas. So to go with that, I decided to make a pair of shorts because I like sleeping in shorts, and these will be great for summer, for camping, for at the lake, you know, that kind of thing. And I made the Striped Swallow Designs Run in the Sun shorts. First time I've made these as well. Again, didn't make a muslin. I can't remember if I made the medium or the large on these. I think I know I projected both, and I think I kind of blended here and there. The only alteration I made was that I lengthened the back crotch curve, and for the next pair I don't think I will do that. I will just do the straight size because for sleep shorts they're great, but I think for regular shorts they would be fine just as the pattern is, or maybe I would maybe lengthen them a little bit, but I had added quite a bit, probably like 3 inches or maybe even more. So these are really fun because they have these ties on the sides, and these actually whip up in no time. Well, so does that tank. So I mean, you'd have time today. Well, this isn't a free pattern, but that one is free. You would have time today to sew that. So they have the drawstring channel in there. Then I just made ties from the same fabric, having the fabric go sideways, and then, or the stripes go sideways, and then you can cinch them up as much or as little as you like. I have them all the way up because I think that's, you know, fun. And they just get hemmed. I don't know, they're just like a simple, different pair of shorts. They kind of have that nod to the 80s with the high cut legs. And they have the elastic waist. You're supposed to use one piece of elastic. I think it's like 1.5 inches it ends up being, or 2 inches, but I didn't have anything that wide. So I actually just used 2 different pieces, and then I made like a channel in between, which isn't great. Like, it does still want to flip, but for pajamas it's fine. And yeah, not really much else to say about them other than I do plan to use this pattern again. I did really enjoy it, and they are really fun and cute to wear. And this fabric was from Fabcycle. Last spring I bought it. One more thing about these shorts, I did change the way that the drawstring is done just ever so slightly. I had it go up into the, so I did the drawstring channel before I folded down the waistband, so it's, the top is like nice and hidden in there, instead of cutting 2 of these so that it cinched the, and then sewing them in. I just did one and looped it up and around. If you've done the apple tree grow with me romper, that's exactly how I did it. So yeah, very happy with how those turned out. I've also been you know, I made these as pajamas for the set, but quite honestly, I could wear them in public or as separates in public and nobody would know that they're also pajamas. And then it got me thinking about the whole, what does that even mean? Why does it matter if you wear something to bed and then wash it? Why can't you still wear it out on a daily, another day? So is it weird to wear your pajamas as clothes and your clothes as pajamas and wash them in between? But you know, is it weird? I don't think it's weird. So this can still be sleep shorts and regular wear shorts, right? Or am I just weird? I don't know. Leave me a comment. You know what I'm talking about. And then the final thing I made was this Seamwork Natalie that I'm wearing. So this pattern I have been wanting to make since last year. I just hadn't made time for it. I guess in my head I thought it was going to be a longer, more involved make than it actually is. I made the size 12 and I did a few adjustments. So I shortened the bodice by 2 inches. There's hair all over this because I was just wearing it. No, I shortened the bodice by 3 inches, including the facing. And then I shortened the sleeve by 3.5 inches. So it's already a short sleeve, but I wanted it even shorter. And we're gonna talk about that in a second. And then I also did a bicep adjustment of 2 inches on here. Now, Seamwork, I've talked about this before, their sizing is kind of all over the place. So it did make a muslin in this size and it was good, except the sleeve was short. So that's why, or tight. So that's why I added, you know, bicep in here. I don't know how to explain this. So the sleeve, well, you'll see when I wear it, it kind of sticks up like this. Don't love that. So I think, and it still comes long onto my shoulder, it's as long as this, and I was hoping it would be kind of, you know, more here. That's why I shortened it 3.5 inches. I like short, cap sleeves. So I could still take some off of here, have an angled hem. For the next one, I think I will probably do that instead. The fit of this is nice. I like the way it sits on my shoulder. I like the way it feels everywhere. However, I have not added buttons yet because I can't find the ones I want to use. So I haven't been able to button it up to see how it is across my bust. I am thinking it might be tight. When I raise my arms, the sleeves get really tight, which is part of why I added 2 inches to each bicep. Now, here's where I'm struggling. If it fits in the shoulder and it's okay in the bust, so why is it tight in the arm? Do I need to add more in the bicep? Is it the arm side? I also think it might be tight across the back once I have it buttoned up. So I don't really want to size up because then the shoulder is going to be so far off. So do I have to do a narrow shoulder adjustment on the next size up? Do I keep this size and just do either a full bust adjustment or add, you know, some width to the back? A full bust adjustment would be easy because there's already a dart in here, so I would just make that, you know, maybe 1 inch bigger or something, and that should give me more room. But I'm not sure where the fit issues are coming from. So once I get buttons on here, I will have to re-diagnose that, and maybe it's fine. But I don't want to I have plans to make more of these. I was going to cut up the second one, but I want to wait until I get the buttons on here and see, you know, where fit issues are. So getting back to the actual top itself, I made this out of fabric that was actually in my grandma's stash. So it's kind of this Western ranch brand kind of print, I guess is what I would explain it as. I cut the back on the wrong direction, which was really silly because I was flipping things around, making sure I got it the right way, and then I still cut it the wrong way. One of those things. Whatever. The collar, I did one way, one the other way. I did not interface the collar or the facing of the shirt because this is kind of a thicker fabric. So I would describe it as a cotton twill. It is not like a canvas, but if you're thinking of canvas, I would say like a very, very lightweight canvas. I serged all my edges and then just pressed everything open. I do like the way that looks. I thought about doing French seams, but I think this fabric is a bit thick for that. Perhaps I will do it on my other fabric because it is a thinner cotton, but it's also just more fussing, so we'll see. But it does look nice. We'll see. And then a couple things that weren't in the instructions that I did anyway is understitching. So I understitched the entire facing as well as the collar. Yes, the collar, the two collar pieces. And then I also top stitched down the entire facing all the way around. I don't love that. Like, it's hard to notice, and I noticed because I did it, but I didn't want the facing flapping. I hate that more, so it was the lesser of two evils, and I don't think it's really too noticeable as it is. So it's not done because the buttons aren't on yet, but I have been wearing it and loving it. So yeah, so here is like kind of when it's buttoned up, it'll be like that, and I think you can see here that it's just kind of going to be tight. So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have to figure it out when I do it up. But I've been wearing it like this. Obviously I don't have sleeves peeking out, but I have been wearing it like just as a shacket kind of thing and enjoying it very, very much. So I don't know if there's much else to say about it other than I need to get the buttons put on. I really don't know. I had some perfect vintage buttons. They're the exact same shade of red in my memory, and I don't know what I did with them because I can't find them. I don't know where they'd be. This is weird. So have to find them and then move on and then get the second one done, hopefully in April. But yeah, that's all I have to share with you today is those 4 makes. They actually ended up being the bud one. I took my time. Well, I take my time with all things now, but it was nice to like just do a little bit here and there. It was really enjoyable make. The Natalie, I kind of actually was able to bang that out pretty quickly. I think I made it in one day, like the actual sewing, because my kids were really cooperative. I think they had a friend over that day. I just like kept going, and it turned out really quick. There wasn't anything too crazy. You know, you do the darts, you do the shoulder seams, the side seams, the sleeves, you add your facing and your hem, and you're pretty much done. Obviously, these 2 knit makes took me like no time at all. I think I finished them up in an evening. So yeah, it was just a great month to kind of get back into the swing of things. And April is shaping up to be more of the same, which I'm really looking forward to. And I have some really fun videos coming out in the month of April too. So if you aren't already, please consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss out on all that content. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for sticking around, checking out my makes, being a loyal supporter of my channel. Definitely make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you love monthly make videos as much as I do, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks again. Bye.